right, thank you guys. Thanks for being here. I'm a New Englander natively, so it's always great to get back here. I grew up in, I feel bad telling you New Hampshireans this. I grew up in Massachusetts. Oh yeah, right, but yeah! All right, now I feel my courage has been bucked up. All right, that's good. But when I was a kid, where did we want to go? We wanted to go to Canopy Lake Park when I was a kid. Yeah! This is a breeze this year. No, I graduated from North Andover High School in 1990. Yeah! All right, we got one North Andoverian in the room. Yeah! All right. Good people. Good people. Well, look, thanks to the guys who made this all possible, which is pretty much everybody except me. I'm getting all the credit for this. All the hard work was done by Gary and the whole crew here from Revolution PAC and all these other people who came together. You guys are unbelievable because look at how many freaking people are here watching a debate and cheering for the man. Now, let me clarify. When I say cheering for the man, I don't mean cheering for the man. I mean cheering for the man. All right, now look. There's one thing that I've noticed in the polls and in some of the results so far. I don't know if it's, I don't know if we would call it a generation gap, or I don't know how to describe it. But it seems like there are two groups of people in this country being represented in this election. And the two groups respond differently when they see the media's reaction to Ron Paul. Because the media people are all telling us, this is a dangerous man, citizen, avert your eyes. This man's views do not fall between Mitt Romney and Joe Biden. Don't you dare listen to this man. Avert your eyes, citizen. He's extreme. He's dangerous. He's crazy. He's not respectable.
And he's right.
Now, and there are some people who will listen to that and say, I heard you, good Mr. Media, sir. Oh, yes, I won't listen to this man because you've told me not to. I will go and vote for the people you want me to support. But the rest of us, we are the people who we watch on TV and we see how panicked the establishment is. The fake left and the fake right and the talk radio people. We see how panicked they are and we say, whoever this guy is, he must be awesome. That is how this country gets turned around. The more people respond that way, the better off we'll be. We don't need the people who are getting used to being told whom to vote for, told what to think. There isn't anybody like that in this whole room. And we're growing all the time, all the time. I mean, just look at what's been going on in New Hampshire and in Iowa in terms of the rallies that have been held. Like Rick Santorum has a rally, so-called. There's like more chairs than people, right? There's like 8 people. Like 3 of them are like his family members and so on. You know, like what's going on? Or just today on C-SPAN, Newt Gingrich is speaking to a room of like 30 silver hairs. And Ron Paul, it's like people can't even, like the fire department's trying to close these things down because there's so many people in there. Now, by the way, I am not discriminatory against people with silver hair because I keep telling my wife it's just dusty. But little by little, but we're all young at heart here. Because what we see in this guy is something a little bit different from all the others. And in particular, see, what we are the toothpaste that is not going back into the tube. Because now that we're out here, now that we know how many of us there are, and more, we're getting the word out about all these things we're not even supposed to be talking about. We are the biggest threat the establishment has ever faced. Now, honestly, that is not just an applause line. That is absolutely true. Now, our critics say, though, that we are caught up in a cult of personality. That we just love this one man, and we're in a big fan club, and if his favorite color is blue, then our favorite color is going to be blue, and whatever. But it's exactly the opposite is the truth. Because if you want to look for a cult of personality, look at the other candidates. Because, my wife is a big Ron Paulian, and she interacts with a lot more non-Ron Paulians than I do. And she'll ask them, so why do you support so-and-so? And instead of getting an answer like, well, I like his policy on this, or she'll get an answer like, well, he looks presidential. Or he was a businessman. So in other words, the attraction comes from who the person is, not from the ideas. But for us, it's the ideas that matter, and Ron Paul is the champion of the ideas. Now, let me ask I've been around this sort of thing for a while, but some of you guys are kind of youngsters, so let me just ask this. How many of you people, when you first heard about Ron Paul, you held totally different views, and he changed the way you looked at the world? All right. Now ask yourselves this question. How many people have ever said, my life was changed forever when I discovered the philosophy of Mitt Romney? I became a voracious reader. I wanted to read Frederick Bastiat and Ludwig von Mises after I heard about Mitt Romney. Come on, right? How much of a robot could the guy possibly be? And yet this is the one who's been anointed. He's got to win because he's the most plastic, he's the most predictable, he's the one who repeats the talking points. That's precisely what makes him so bad.
We don't care!
What is so hard about this? But now, let's be fair to Ron Paul, because it's not right to say that all we care about is the ideas and the man doesn't matter. Because in this case, he is a good man. And we do support him as a man, as a human being. Because for one thing, he doesn't just give pretty speeches about these ideas. We know from his record that he believes it. We know he's going to do it. And that's actually why his opponents take him so seriously, because they know that a Ron Paul victory means these ideas are going to become reality. Another thing, how about this? The guy is not an egomaniac. I guess he forgot to look through all the qualifications, because egomaniac is like right up here to run for president. I mean, think of it. What is our biggest criticism of Dr. Paul? He doesn't brag about himself enough.
Never.
Now, how many politicians have ever had to be nudged into bragging about themselves? This is an unusual person. Or how about the fact, look at what we saw. Now, if you guys haven't seen the full ad, you've got to go on YouTube and type Compassion Ron Paul. But tonight we saw the 60-minute version, 60-second, I wish it was 60 minutes, the 60-second version, but you've got to watch the whole 2 minutes on YouTube. And look at this story about the real compassion of Ron Paul. Now, Carol Paul, his wife, says there are many stories like that of generosity from Dr. Paul's career as a physician. And yet he's so humble, he doesn't even tell us about them. Go ahead, Ron, we want to know, right? But above all, look at this guy. Now, we all know he's in robust health, and I wouldn't want to be in a bike race against this guy or compete, do push-ups with him or anything like that. We all know that. But at the same time, it is physically and mentally extremely taxing and grueling to run for president and be up at the crack of dawn and be doing interviews all day with the same imbeciles, with the same objections that you've answered a million times before, and day after day after day, you go to bed late and you start it again. But not only that, also he doesn't need this. He could have just retired and we would have said, well done, good and faithful servant, you've done enough.
That's right.
He could have done that, and we would not have held that against him. And yet, not only does he subject himself to the schedule, he subjects himself to the smears from the phony left and the fake neocon talk radio right, smearing him every day. Making him out to be a horrible person. I mean, that is not easy. I mean, I've had that happen to me, but like 1,000th of 1% the extent that's happened to him, and it's hard on me. I can't imagine what he's going through, but he doesn't give it a moment's thought because he's doing this for us. And I know this sounds corny, but he's doing this. He's putting himself through this because he believes that his ideas are the key to a better world.
And they are!
Now, I want to say a little something, though, about just... I myself have been changed by this experience, by the whole Ron Paul thing starting in 2007. For one thing, I've become much thicker-skinned than I used to be, right? I realize there is no way you can please everyone. Somebody is going to dislike you, and some people are going to be vicious towards you. There's nothing you can do. If you really stand for something, somebody's going to dislike it. If you look at all the great people who ever lived, and all the great things they did, they all had enemies. What makes you think you're going to be better? You just got to live with it. You got to live with it, make it, you buck yourself up, be stronger, and just move on. Don't dwell on it. You know, screw the comment sections, defending yourself. Look, no. You got to just dust yourself off and move on. And that's what I've learned to do. It was important. I've learned this. Another thing is, this whole experience has made me smarter. If you're defending Mitt Romney, what books do you need to read, right? You just read one brochure and that's it. But you're defending Ron Paul. This is a guy who's basically saying, we got to start the whole damn system over again. And so, you got to know a lot. You got to know about the Federal Reserve. You got to know about the Constitution. You got to know a whole lot. And so I've had to learn a lot. I've had to read more and study more so that I can be the best ambassador of these ideas I can. I mean, that's wonderful. It's been great to force myself to learn this. But also, I have become, frankly, a more open-minded person. Like, I have made friendships with people who are very, very different from me. Because we all share this vision. And I say that's great, right? I got people who everybody looks different, they all have different ways of thinking, but we all feel like,
Because we don't care!
what? That is unbelievable. So he doesn't know about the, okay, well, I'll give you that. So Romney doesn't know about the Supreme Court and contraception issue. He has to refer a Constitution question to Ron Paul, and he gets an A? What did they say? Oh, good! There's some justice in the world. But Romney? Oh, boo! Boo! Terrible! All right, look. We got Jordan Page here, so I want to wrap up with I want to leave you with one thought. Because historians look back at the collapse of communism, and they look back at Poland in particular. And those poor people suffered behind the Iron Curtain for decades. Oh, all right, well, okay, wait a minute, hold on. I thought that was a pretty standard performance for Perry tonight, so I guess that is the correct remark. Mark. So, communism collapses in Poland. What? Apparently he was already up.
Apparently got an A+.
All right, no, I gotta finish. So we want to hear Jordan Page here, right? All right. So here they are suffering in Poland, and then Pope John Paul visits Poland. All the commies in government do not want him to show up, so they all pretend to be sick for months at a time. They said, oh, we can't receive him, we're all sick. So finally he shows up, like 1 million people come out to see him. And that was the turning point, because the Poles realized, wait a minute, there were like millions of us and there were like 50 apparatchiks ruling over us. Why have we let this go on for so damn long? Ron Paul has done that for us, because now we've come out. And we look around and we say there's so many, like we never realized how many of us there could be. This is the beginning. And so, we know that despite the differences we have, we share something important in common. So let's not just let 2012 go on. But let's remember that beyond 2012, we have a mission together. And let's not be engaging in picking fights with each other about stupid things. Let's work together so that we can take this revolution and make it a reality in the life of America. All right, thank you very much. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, good work, man.
You're an amazing speaker.
Thank you.